I'm here in New York City for a couple days and I'm seeing a lot of these QR codes around town. Let me ask you a question. What do you think? Is it safe to click on this QR code? Let's go for a walk and talk about it. So unfortunately, these QR codes, which are showing up everywhere and they're super convenient, right? They take us to a URL. In that case, I think it was some for a Halloween dog party. But we have to be super careful because the crooks, the scammers in the world are getting very, very clever. Here's my QR code to my website, and a lot of folks are watching this YouTube video on their television, and so should you click on that? As much as I'd like you to click on it, it takes you to my website, you probably should not bring out your camera and click on it because it could take you to a nefarious website. What people are doing, what scammers are doing, is it's not necessarily just on posters like that could take you to a nefarious website, but they're also putting stickers, QR codes, on top of like the scooters that we see in cities like New York City and all of our towns pop up, where you scan the QR code in order to pay. So anytime there's a QR code that says you can pay, you want to be really careful. Because what the bad guys are doing is they're putting a sticker on it that then takes you to an executable app, kind of a web app on your phone. And so let's say it's Lime, let's say it's a Uber scooter, let's say it's a Bird scooter, or anything where you pay money in order to use that service. You want to be really careful, and if it gives you the website to go to, you know, let's say Bird scooter, I don't know what it is. It's safer to just type that in. Yes, it's more convenient to just scan the code and go to the location automatically, but we have to be really, really careful. And it just points to, you know, how clever these scammers are getting. And unfortunately, what ends up happening is as we get older, we become less cautious. We become less sensitive to scams, but it's also as our ability to keep up with the technology and hear what's going on with the scams and keep a sniff test of what seems okay and what's not okay. As we get older, that's harder to do. And at the same time, our credit cards have higher limits. And credit cards are one thing, right? If we get scammed on that, we have a lot of protections. But our bank accounts are a different thing. So, you know, we just need to be really cautious and really careful. You know, here's another example. So I'm in Madison Square, and here's another QR code, and this is for the Friends of the Madison Square Park, people to support New York City and to support the parks. And that's a good thing, and we want to make it easy for people that want to support causes like that to be able to do it, but we also have to be careful on that. So, and related to this, here's another QR code on a garbage can here. So I think this is also for the park. Don't scan any of these for the reasons that I said earlier. As new technologies come out, we have to be super careful. For instance, with our ATM cards, they now have the, you know, with our credit cards, we can tap to pay. And it's the same thing with our ATM cards. When you're traveling, you might say, you know what, I'm not going to carry much cash on me, and if I need more cash, I'm going to go to the local bank, go to the ATM, pick up a day's worth of cash, pick up 2 days worth of cash. And the new cards have it where you don't even have to put in your card, you can just tap to withdraw money. But you have to be careful because many of these cards, it's not obvious when you've logged out after you've tapped in. Like when I use my ATM card, I usually have to leave the card in, right? I physically put it in the ATM machine and then I physically take it out, and that's how I know that I've exited. But when you're on a tap to pay, you have to be careful. People have been scammed into, in fact, it's like a gang that is doing this, various gangs, where they'll actually put glue into the card slot holder So when you go to put your card into the ATM card slot, you can't do that. And for many of us, we've never used the tap to pay, so we don't know what the limitations are on that. And so we have to be careful, because we go to put our card in, it doesn't work, and maybe there's a helpful person nearby that says, oh, don't worry, you can use your tap to pay. And they're hoping we don't know how to log out in order to do it. So there's all these scams that are taking place as technology increases. You know, one of the things I'm noticing just in the last 6 months is how easy it is everywhere to pay with tap to pay with your phone. For instance, here in New York City, you can take the subways and you don't even need a subway card. You can just tap to pay with your phone. And I don't know of any scams with that tap to pay, but I'm sure the bad guys are trying to figure it out. In fact, here in New York City, it's super convenient. You really don't need to carry cash. You really don't even need to carry your credit cards, because everything you can tap to pay with your phone. And in fact, the subways keep track. So for $35 a week, you get unlimited subway rides here, and it keeps track. So if I go over $35 in daily subway rides, it'll say, oh, it would have been less expensive for you to have the weekly unlimited pass, and it'll automatically convert me to it. So some things are super convenient and super helpful for us, but as Spider-Man is famous for, I think it was actually a FDR quote, with great power comes great responsibility. So we need to be super careful. We need to be helping out our friends that maybe are getting up there in age. We need to share with one another what these scams are. The reality is, as things get more convenient to pay for, which is a nice thing, it also becomes easier to get scammed. And one of the things I want to share with you is most scams rely on us having a sense of urgency. We have to do something right away. And you know, you think about some of the scams that we've heard about, you know, somebody calling and saying they're from the IRS, and if you don't pay this amount of money, somebody's going to get arrested, or somebody pretending to be a police officer and saying there's a warrant for one of our kids' arrests, and if we don't pay this much money, they're going to spend the night in jail or something like that. So the scammers rely on us trying to make a decision quickly. So anytime we can pause, we can slow down, and we can think critically about, does this make sense? I think we're gonna benefit ourselves. And so while life is getting more convenient, life is also getting shorter for most of us. And that's why I made this video here. 7 things to stop doing in your 50s and 60s in order to enjoy your journey until you retire. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.